What time is it?
Game time! Woo!
And welcome back. You're watching and listening to On Deck, of course, for yours truly, Charles Prodigy Richey. I am the host of the Men of Steel podcast, which catch me every Mondays and Wednesdays. I am now going to be officially changing it to 8 or 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, somewhere around there, trying to get that figured out right now. But before we go a little bit further into it right now, I want to pay one special tribute and shout out to right now. I mean, a legend here in the industry, Marv Albert right now. Marv Albert, who began his NBA career back on January 27th, 1963. He started off as for the Knicks game as a broadcaster on their radio station. He was filling in for his mentor, Mari Glickman. And by the way, I mean, you remember Marv Albert? I mean, years later, he'd be officially one of the lead play-by-play announcers when the NBA used to be on NBC, and one of the B squad teams right now on NBA on TNT, basically. And so Marv Albert, this is going to be his final series as broadcast right here. Just want to say thank you and congratulations right here to a guy in Marv Albert who had an historic 58-year career in the NBA, all his contributions right now. Hopefully, this won't be the last night. I mean, whether it is or not, but I mean, how can you not pitch the guy when you think about, oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan? I think, if anything, that's going to be like my all-time favorite call Marv Albert has ever made in his broadcasting career. I mean, this is a guy right here. I mean, when you think of the NBA, one of the voices, I mean, like the NFL back in the day, used to have Pat Summerall as one of the main voices of the NFL. I think this is what Marv Albert is to the NBA in today's times. I mean, personally, for me, it would be Al Michaels as far as one of the voices. I mean, doing it for a long time, Monday Night Football, and of course, Sunday Night Football between ABC and NBC. But you look at a guy like Marv Albert, and I know he's had that one little stay in his career where he had that biting incident, but still, I mean, everything that he's been able to contribute, I mean, delivering as a game, as a broadcaster, I mean, just bringing the game excitement. And I got to tell you right now, this guy is definitely to be commended here. And I think, if anything, when you look at Marv Albert and what he's did, I think he's definitely one of the legends of his voice. Remember, he also had Mike Breen go into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame this year, who got inducted. And it was just great to see him get in there. I mean, like even all the work that he's done on ABC and ESPN for, I mean, his career and everything that he's been able to achieve. And just an incredible guy right here, too. I mean, with everything going on. And, yeah, I mean, it's definitely breathtaking. Just can't even imagine what the NBA be like without Marv Albert going forward, to be honest with you. I mean, I know, of course, he has son Kenny Albert. He's doing the NHL. But still, I mean, he's a guy that will definitely be dearly missed, I think, once he hangs up. Thanks for all the voices and, like, the entertaining game-by-day game broadcast that you've been able to provide, sir. So now let's go ahead and look at right now, speaking of which, like I said, the Atlanta Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks right now. You got two franchises right now who are looking to end droughts right now. Beginning with the Atlanta Hawks, who have not been to the NBA Finals in their franchise history. I want to say since 1964 was the last time when we looked at it. No, excuse me, it was 1961. So they were looking to get back to their first NBA Finals in over 60 years, while the Milwaukee Bucks will be looking to get back there in 50 years. I mean, to win it in 50 years, excuse me. So they'd be looking to end a 47-year drought, trying to be away from it. And right now, I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks seem to be in a nice position for the time being. check on the current score right now as we're talking about it. They have the Milwaukee Bucks have a 3-point lead over the Atlanta Hawks, 40-37 with under 4 minutes to go right now. But when you look at the key factors, I mean, that's been going on with this Milwaukee Bucks team right now and what they've been able to do from a perspective here. I mean, what they've been able to prove right now. I mean, they made a key actual acquisition trade back in November, late November, before the season started. And right there, one of the guys they got was Drew Holiday, which was involved in a 4-team deal. And basically, the Bucks they set guard Eric Bledsoe, 2 first-round picks, 2025, 2027, the right to swap first-round picks with New Orleans, and then also part of that trade too. I mean, who the other teams that were on there along with them were Milwaukee. They also got guard George Hill to the Thunder, and the draft rights 2020 first round pick RJ Hampton to Denver in the trade. So once again, the trade was involving the New Orleans Pelicans, Oklahoma City Thunder, and of course the Denver Nuggets for the Milwaukee Bucks to get point guard Eric Bledsoe. And right now, I mean, the Bucks also getting George Hill. I mean, basically to the Thunder. So you look at a guy like Drew Holiday right now. He's entering his 12th season in the NBA. He's a 2-time All-Defensive team honoree in back-to-back years in 2018 and 2019, and has only had one NBA All-Star appearance. He has appeared in more than 700 games with New Orleans. And when you break down like what the Bucks have been able to do, I mean, this year, he's been a nice complimentary third wheel to this team right now. When you look at, I mean, points per game, he is third on this list, averaging about nearly 18 points a game. Chris Middleton right there, by the way, who's got 20.4 points a game. And you look at the other side of it too right now. You got the Atlanta Hawks right now, which, by the way, remember, they started off the season with Lloyd Pierce, their coach, who started off the season 14-20. In comes veteran head coach Nate McMillan, by the way. And Nate McMillan, who's had his struggles, he's never been to the conference finals ever before. I mean, his 17 years of coaching, I believe it is, when you look at what he's been able to do, I mean, from a standpoint, I mean, what he's been able to contribute. I mean, yeah, 17 years in the league, never been to the conference finals. He's only went as far as to the second round. The last time his team was in the second round, he was with the old Seattle Supersonics, which later became the Thunder right there. They got bounced in the second round. The San Antonio Spurs, who will go on to win the championship once again over the Detroit Pistons. They will lose that series 2-4. So that was as high as he gotten. But you look at, I mean, this Hawks team right now. I mean, Knicks series right there, they held them in 5 games. I mean, not really too much of a surprise right there. I wasn't really expecting much from the Knicks. I mean, definitely some great atmosphere. Finally be back in the playoffs after such a long drought. I want to say that was since 2013 was the last time they were there, if I'm not mistaken. But then anyway, too, I mean, beat the 76ers in 7 games right there. I mean, I had confidence with the Hawks team going into Philadelphia in that Game 7 game right there. You got a guy like Ben Simmons right now who's having some confidence issues right now. And a guy who may be traded, I mean, sooner rather than later, I mean, for the time being. And even his coach is really really has a lot of high doubts on. So, I mean, when you play the team like the 76ers in the second round, I never really trusted the fact the 76ers were going to treat their home court environment to their advantage. I mean, it just felt like the 76ers were playing like a road team in their own arena. And when you look at, I mean, like guys, I mean, going into this right now, I mean, into these playoffs right now, basically with everything that's been going on, I mean, for this time being, it's been a lot of interesting stuff right now. I mean, for everything that's been going on. I mean, you look at the 2021 NBA playoffs right now, basically, and the guys who are remaining right now. I mean, basically for the time being here. I mean, you got Trae Young, who leads the way with 109 fourth quarter points, basically. And this was a guy who was ruled out, I think, due to a foot injury not too long ago, who had missed a few games. I mean, in this series here, basically. And we're looking at it right now. Yeah, I mean, he right now, I mean, he did not play the previous two games back on the 29th and the first. I mean, basically, but he is back in game six. So he missed game 4 and 5, basically. He was out due to a foot injury, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. But like I said, with Giannis Antetokounmpo, just as a reminder for people who are watching the game tonight, according to Malika, Giannis, who hyperextended his left knee back on Tuesday, he was listed as doubtful going into Thursday's game 5. I mean, no, doubtful for game 6, excuse me. So he was ruled out for game 5, but he did make the trip with the team. Like I said, the key thing was for him, aside from hanging up in the gym, was get back some on-court basketball activity. So again, remember that just barely started up today. It didn't seem like it was enough for him to get clearance. But I would expect him to be ready for Game 7, or do the Bucks take the chance to go on without him? To be honest, yeah. Listen, I think this Bucks team right now, Mike Budenholzer's got this team in the right mindset right now. I mean, this is a guy who also coincidentally too, who's in the conference finals. He's been in there 2 previous times in his coaching career. Last time 2 years ago, after blowing a 2-game-to-none series lead over the eventual defending champion Toronto Raptors with Kawhi Leonard, and they were able to get ousted in 6 games. And then the previous time, too, was getting swept by LeBron James' return year to the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2015. So, I mean, look at him. And he was a member of the Atlanta Hawks. He was their head coach right there. And you look at a guy like Mike Budenholzer, who's spent at least like 17 years as an assistant. Greg Popovich, just give you a little bit of background on him. He's earned 4 titles as an NBA assistant coach with Greg Popovich's staff with the Spurs. So, I mean, you look at it right there. And aside from that, too, I mean, by the way, I really like the aggressiveness of this Hawks. I mean, this is a team who's definitely got no quit in them. But then again, I'm not gonna lie to you. If the Bucks go to this NBA Finals, I'm gonna make the prediction right now. If you have a healthy Giannis Antetokounmpo, listen, I love the story of Chris Paul right now, but I gotta tell you right now, I really believe right now the Milwaukee Bucks are just as the complete team right now. I mean, it's a team that get aggressive. I mean, like attacking inside the paint, hitting their fair share of open jump shots. I think anytime you knock off a team like Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets, especially when you got James Harden on there right there, and you got a stack of star talent on there, along with Kyrie Irving, who's the clear number 2. Then, of course, James Harden. James Harden, who did not do himself, he did himself a disservice by coming in there with bad shape as he was. Remember, he did kind of come into the season a little bit overweight. He had to whip himself back into shape, so that was his own problem right there. But then he also had guys on that roster too, like Blake Griffin was another guy. Did not seem to be enough. And what ended up happening, I think, in that series a couple weeks ago, you saw how Steve Nash's coaching, I think, got a little bit exposed. And you just saw it caught up with him, their experience. I don't think Steve Nash was the right guy for this Brooklyn Nets team right now, who should be in the conference finals, but they're not. And right now, I mean, this was like Kevin Durant's fully his first year ever since having the Achilles tear from 2 years ago in the NBA Finals. And you see right now, what I'm looking at is this: when you got when you eliminate someone like that, if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Bucks, you want to reward that thing with an NBA championship. You do not want to waste that time. You don't want it to be shown for nothing. I think this is a time where they need to strike. So if it's gonna be Bucks and Suns, give me the Milwaukee Bucks in 6 games. I'm calling it right now. I'm not picking the Suns. I would not mind seeing Chris Paul get his first NBA championship. I'm telling you right now, I think Mike Budenholzer really has got this team just as much locked in as Maya Williams does with his Phoenix Suns team. I mean, it's been an incredible story, but I just don't like the Phoenix Suns' history in the NBA Finals going 0 for 2. I mean, when you truly look at it, I mean, for the most part, I mean, like I said, I mean, when you look at the NBA Finals back in 1976, they lost that one 6 games, and once again lost in 6 games to the Chicago Bulls. And the Suns, I mean, when you're an organization that hasn't won anything like that, it's you really start to wonder. I mean, how much is it really meant for them? But then again, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe this is their year. Maybe it is the Suns. I mean, Jay Crowder, he did make the aggressive comment towards LeBron James and the Lakers. They had fake rings because they had to go for a bubble format, which I call a bunch of malarkey, by the way. But if anything, that was a year for all North American sports teams. Everybody had to shut down with COVID-19. I don't want to hear that. I think it was just definitely a cheap shot below the belt, to be honest with you. And I anticipate, like I said, I anticipate the Milwaukee Bucks to finish this game tonight, have confidence in them. It may go to game 7, but to be honest right now, they're playing with a whole lot of confidence. If you have a healthy Giannis Antetokounmpo, at least like 90% of him, I think you got a good shot. I think the only big thing is right now, what you have to do if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you got to make sure you're matching the Suns blow for blow. You cannot allow them to get off to a fast start. If not, you create a lot of problems going forward in that series right there because they're a team who ain't afraid to bury you with threes early. I think the Suns personally play better watching this series. They play better, I mean, with leads right here. And when you got guys around there, too, especially the Jay Crowder, who ain't afraid to hit the wide open 3 at times, too, and get physical inside. I mean, you got a real good combination right there and a good triple threat, if you ask me. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this segment. Coming up, we're going to go ahead and wrap up with NFL Extra Points. We're getting into the Bear Rush. The Bear Zone, excuse me. Chicago Bears right now, what are some of the key things that we'll be seeing going into training camp? And plus the starting quarterback position, tight end battle, and offensive tackle, second-round pick, Evan Jenkins. You're watching Listening On Deck with me, Charles Prodigy, Richey, host of the podcast. Don't move a muscle.
He's got it. That's a winner.